Welcome to The Debate. 10 years ago, you walk onto a professional film set and you see, a small army. Lighting rigs, soundboards, editors hunched over complex timelines.
Right, it required a massive budget to make even a simple educational video.
Exactly. But today, that entire studio has supposedly been replaced by a single text box.
Supposedly being the key word there.
Right. So our central question today is, does this so-called zero-editing skill AI workflow actually democratize high-fidelity educational content? Or do economic constraints, AI hallucinations, and legal hurdles just fatally compromise its practical value? I'll be arguing that this is a structural transformation, one that finally liberates teachers to focus purely on learning design.
And I take the opposing view. I view this ecosystem as, well, basically an inaccessible, risky mirage for the everyday educator.
So look at how fundamentally AI has abstracted post-production. I mean, we aren't just pasting a moving mouth onto a static image anymore.
Thank goodness. That uncanny valley effect was always deeply unsettling.
Yeah, it was awful. But now foundation models like Seedance 2.0 use native audio-visual synchronization, meaning the AI generates the audio wave and the pixel movement at the exact same time.
Right, maintaining perfect temporal consistency.
Precisely. Pair that with free tools like XPilot, which can automatically map out a lesson's logic into visual charts, and the machine just takes on the entire production burden.
I mean, the technology is undeniably impressive, but that democratization narrative completely ignores ground realities. Look at the economic data.
What data specifically?
Well, 94% of public school teachers spend their own money on classroom supplies. After the basics, they have an average of exactly $3.50 a month left for software.
Okay, budgets are tight.
Tight. Enterprise compliance tools like Synthesia cost $89 a month. That is fundamentally inaccessible. And worse, there are severe pedagogical risks here.
You mean the hallucinations?
Exactly. We're trusting statistical models that will confidently hallucinate a completely fictitious biological organelle in a biology video.
Right, but you don't actually need that $89 enterprise tool. Budget constraints are pretty easily solved by stacking free platforms.
By duct taping them together, you mean?
I mean, call it what you want, but a teacher can take XPilot's free high-definition video exports and just drop them right into Canva.
Which is free for K-12, sure.
Exactly. Free for K-12. They get cinematic visual aids without spending a single dime.
But jumping between Canva, XPilot, and constantly checking leaderboards for new AI models just to find one that works, that is the exact opposite of a zero-friction experience.
It takes a little setup, sure.
And we're forgetting the most vital part of education, which is human connection. To build true parasocial rapport with learners, you really need a realistic human presence.
Right, the avatars.
Yes, and the photorealistic avatars, the ones with genuine micro-expressions and voice cloning across 175 languages, those remain strictly locked behind premium paywalls like HeyGen. That high-end connection is still a luxury.
Okay, maybe the absolute premium features cost money, but the core workflow operates like a modern automated printing press. It elevates the educator from a post-production technician to a creative director.
A creative director?
Yeah, you aren't operating the printing press yourself. You ask the AI for a lesson plan, and it outputs a hidden code blueprint, like a structured JSON script. Then, video software like Opus Clip reads that blueprint to automatically layer B-roll and sync dynamic captions. You're directing the vision, not cutting the film.
Hold on. Let's look at that printing press analogy. A printing press just copies exactly what you give it.
Right.
These models don't just copy, they guess based on statistical probabilities. Because they don't actually understand the science or history they are rendering, they guess wrong.
I see where you're going with this.
Right. So preventing those visual hallucinations demands rigorous, time-consuming expert review. You have to comb through every single frame to ensure accuracy, which completely destroys that promised zero-skill convenience.
I will concede it forces the teacher to manually review and tweak the output, but ironically, that massive headache is the exact thing saving them from legal ruin.
How so?
By forcing the teacher to act as a true editor, executing complex assembly or integrating cloned audio, they're actually demonstrating human authorship.
Oh, for the U.S. Copyright Office.
Exactly. Just writing a text prompt isn't enough to secure intellectual property. But that hands-on, frame-by-frame review process you mentioned, that secures it.
Well, securing copyright is one thing. Deploying it legally in a classroom is an entirely another.
You're talking about privacy now?
Yes. You are feeding lesson scripts and potentially student-facing contexts into these foundation models. Strict K-12 COPPA privacy regulations make this a complete legal minefield.
That depends on the platform's terms of service, doesn't it?
Institutions have to guarantee that not a single byte of student data is exposed or utilized to train future commercial models. The compliance overhead for that alone is staggering.
Look, we both certainly agree that AI has permanently altered educational media production. The days of needing advanced proficiency and timeline editing software are definitively behind us.
I agree with that. The landscape has changed.
And I maintain that by abstracting those technical barriers, this ecosystem practically serves everyday educators.
And I remain convinced that the tension between raw technological capability and economic reality just introduces unmanageable institutional risks for the average teacher.
Well, there is clearly much more to explore within this material, leaving you to form your own conclusion. As we evaluate the classrooms of 2026, we have to ask, has that exclusive film set truly opened its doors to everyone? Or have we just replaced the expensive equipment with equally expensive paywalls and invisible risks?
Tap this card right here to watch the next video. Awesome! Let's do it! Hear that? That's the sound of success.